Hi everybody, welcome back. My name is Jamie Miller, PGA Teacher Professional, and today we're going to be doing a little compare between the Callaway AI Smoke and the new Callaway Elyte. So for the past year I've been using the AI Smoke driver and I've really loved it. I think it's fantastic and I have no intention to change whatsoever. However, like many of you, when the new stuff comes out I get excited. I want to see what it's like, how it compares to stuff I currently have. And this year in particular, Callaway making some pretty big claims with the Elyte driver. And I want to put those claims to the test. So we're going to compare the Elyte to the Callaway Paradym Ai Smoke, the world's longest named driver. These claims that they're actually making are against this driver, so I want to see if I do gain some clubhead speed. So I think Callaway said in testing they're sort of around about 1.3 miles per hour of clubhead speed gain and 2.8 miles of ball speed gain. If those numbers are wrong, I'll put them up on the screen now as to what they actually were. But from memory, that's what they were saying that they were getting. So I want to see if I can gain some clubhead speed, if I can gain some ball speed, and if that in turn helps my game. The other thing that Callaway are saying is this new Elyte driver is on average around about 13 or 14% tighter dispersion downrange. So we're hitting more fairways and hopefully keeping the ball in play a bit more often. And again, I'm going to put that to the test and take all that data we collect from the shots and put it into an app from Ping, which allows me to then turn that data into strokes gained to compare the two drivers and see whether in fact the Elyte is actually doing anything for my game, if it's going to help me lower my scores, and in turn just give you some idea of whether it might be worthwhile upgrading your driver this year or not. Let's get into it. Starting off with my driver here, so I'm going to hit 5 shots with this one, then swap over to the Elyte, swap over again, hit a bunch of shots, try and get as much data as possible, see what the differences are, and we'll see how we get on. While I'm collecting this data, why don't we have a little chat about what Callaway is saying and making their new driver Elyte. So what is making Callaway's new Elyte driver so elite? Well, they're saying they've changed the shape of the club head. They've got this new aerodynamic package or packaging shape, whatever you want to call it. In particular, they're talking about how they've taken the shape and changed it here at the heel to allow more or better airflow compared to the AI Smoke. Hopefully you can sort of see that on the screen there. The heel is a little bit lower on the Elyte compared to the AI Smoke. What they're saying is this will allow better airflow over the driver, leading to more clubhead speed and then in turn better ball speed. The other thing they've done is they've gone away from the sliding weight at the back there. They've gone for a more set position weight. What they were finding was that the sliding weight was catching more air. So again, it's an aerodynamic story. But also they tended to find that people, if they were moving the movable weight, they were tending to go for the more extreme areas anyway. So it made sense just to put it into a set position. We've also changed the way they make the crown on the carbon crown on top, so it's a thermo-forged process. It's much more similar to how they made the bottom of the AI Smoke last year, which is a forged carbon. This is apparently allowing them to redistribute weight in better places to allow for better launch and spin characteristics, obviously leading again to more distance. They've got a ridiculously large amount of shots and data captured that they've used AI to try and create a face where the more of the face is a hotspot for depending on the delivery you make and the strike you have to try and give you the best ball speeds no matter where you hit across the face. So they're not talking forgiveness in terms of moving weight around, they're actually talking forgiveness in the way you strike it across the face, trying to make each part of the face as optimal as possible no matter how you hit it. Whether that comes out in the testing remains to be seen. However, it's a driver that looks really good, feels really good. Let's see how it performs. Time to hit the Elyte now, and down behind the golf ball looks really, really good. I like the matte finish, but at the same time, I really like the way my driver looks. I would say, if anything, my driver looks slightly bigger, so slightly more stretched back. Maybe, if anything, looks a fraction more forgiving, but that doesn't necessarily mean it is. And the best thing about doing this test with my own personal driver and this new one is that I can just keep the same shaft, so it's going to stay the same feel. I've got them set up in the same loft, so 10.5 degrees of loft. And I've got the weight port changed on my driver to the max fade, and same here with the Elyte as well. I do tend to struggle with a little bit of lefts at times, so having that driver set up, that toe weight, just helps me keep the ball a little bit straighter, hopefully a little more often. I mean, as far as starts go, that's a pretty good one. Nice and straight. Feels pretty good. If anything, sounds a little bit quieter than my one. Where did I hit that? Sounded, yeah, pretty solid. It's hard to get the feel when the club head's that quiet. Back in Old Faithful here, I do like the way this one sits. I think I've gotten used to the way it looks over the past year and Just I like the way it just looks good. Interesting to note, it does feel slightly heavier than the Elyte down the club head end. Not sure why that is. I'll have to check and see if the club heads are actually different weights or not. My club head speed did go up slightly with the Elyte in that first set. So I'm interested to see if it is on average higher, but this is my second set with my club now, so I should be a bit more warmed up. I'm assuming club head speed kind of level out and be about the same as what it was with the Elyte, but if Callaway is to be trusted, if what they're saying is true, then in actual fact I might still be swinging it a little bit slower. Numbers time now. So if we have a look at ball speed, I was actually getting more ball speed out of my current driver, half a mile, 0.6 of a mile an hour extra ball speed. Launching 1 degree different with my club. Now I did notice that when I was collecting data, I wasn't able to get as much dynamic loft on the Elyte for some reason, so I would probably actually need to loft that up slightly so that I could get similar numbers or better launch conditions. Overall backspin, slightly higher spinning in my current driver at 2200 compared to basically 2100, so really not much in it, to be honest. Carry distance 279 with my current driver and 278 with the Elyte. Rolling out to a total of 297 with mine and 299 with the Elyte, so the slightly lower spin, very slightly lower spin with the Elyte, just adding up to 2 extra yards of run. And if you look down the bottom, just below all the big numbers there is the standard deviation numbers, and they're all almost identical as well, so there's not really a lot of difference between those drivers. For me, when it came to today's test, if we have a look at the club data, you'll see that I swung the Elyte half a mile an hour faster, so possibly what Callaway is saying they've done with the shaping of that club head has actually helped increase club head speed there for me. Just beside club head speed there you'll see dynamic loft, and that's the loft we deliver at impact. On my current driver, slightly higher. I'm not entirely sure why that would be. Potentially has something to do with the way they make the head and the center of gravity positioning in the club head. Moment of truth time now. Would my scores be lower if I use the Elyte over my current AI Smoke? I've put the data that I've collected into the Ping Copilot app to see what it comes out with. So it asked me for which driver I'm using. It asked me for the driver that we tested. AI Smoke, total distance. So for total, I actually put carry distance because the total distance on the sim is always just a best guess. So I'd rather just put the carry, which is very accurate. So 279 carry distance. Standard deviation for offline. So for the AI Smoke, it was 62 feet standard deviation offline. For the Elyte, the carry distance was 278 and the offline standard deviation was 46 feet. So now I'm going to push the little button. I'm going to find out which one was the winner. Before I push the button actually, let's just quickly note that the Elyte was a little bit more accurate standard deviation wise compared to the AI Smoke, and I just want to see if it was around about the 13% that Callaway were claiming, because that's one of the things they were saying about this driver. It was 74, so for me it was about 25% more accurate actually, the Elyte in this particular test. But now let's find out whether it would actually lower my golf scores. So the Elyte was the winner on the day. It gives me a strokes gain total of 1.14. I gained because it was more accurate. So what does this mean? Basically, it means that the Elyte, even though it didn't go quite as far, it was far more accurate and would lead to scores that are about 1.14 shots lower on average. So, in theory, I should actually play the Elyte because my golf scores would be lower. However, I'd be interested to do that test again and just see if that bears out again and again. If it comes up more than once, then it's definitely something to think about, because at the end of the day, I just want to shoot lower scores, and if that means that a driver is going to help me shoot lower scores and all I'm missing out on is 1 yard, then possibly it is something to consider. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions about anything we've discussed today, pop it in the comments. If you'd like me to do more compares, if you'd like me to test out other equipment, also pop that in the comments below. Otherwise, I'll see you all again soon.